Don't look now, Atkinson, but you have someone new following you.
Hello. How's everybody doing? So good to see you. So many people in here right off the bat. I love it. Man. 13th, good to see you again. Goldie, of course, our author in the chat. Hello to you. Purple, thank you for following. That was really kind of you. Hello. And Zebra, my new friend. And iBlueWave, hello. You just got off work. That's fantastic. I didn't work today. And I don't work tomorrow. Yes. And Hicks. Hi, Hicks. Good to see you got your Pokemon journey started, Purple. Welcome to that fun show. There's like 800 plus different Pokemon you can try and catch. So enjoy that. So how's everybody doing? How's Thursday been? Hopefully productive, or maybe not. Hopefully it was good. Either way. I've been trying to think of fun ways to change the words, so like, what did I say for Tuesday? I totally forget now. I have to go back and look. Hold on. Oh yeah. Tuesday I said was Tuesday, like choose you and bring a friend too. And then Wednesday was Wednesday, as in when should I speak versus when should I listen, or when should I take an action, or when should I pause. You know, just a fun little twist. But I couldn't think of anything on Thursday. So, you love me some Pokemon? Good. Hick says it was good, just busy. Yeah, I bet it was. You have a busy job. Lots of things to do. So yeah. And Zebra's getting in on the Pokemon journey as well. Good luck to you both. It's a tormenting process, but here's essentially how it works for those of you that don't know. Every Purple, thank you so much for subscribing. That was awesome of you. Thank you. And I gotta fix that little pop-up thing. It's so not very good. All right. Thank you, Purple. You're awesome. What was I saying? Right, Pokemon. When you are in chat of a streamer that has the Pokemon game up, doesn't matter who the streamer is, you get money every 15 minutes put into your Poké Dollars, essentially. And you can use those Poké Dollars to then buy Pokeballs. You use the Pokeballs to catch Pokemon. When you just get started, I think you get like 5. If you look down below, there's a panel that, in my About section, that will show you what you have in your inventory, along with Pokemon that you've caught, including the starter one you just got. So yeah, awesome. It is fun, and like I said, there's like 800 plus different freaking Pokemon that you can get. So like, for example, for me, I have 382, but that doesn't mean I have 382 different ones. I have a few that are duplicates. Yeah. So, there you go. And you can catch shiny ones, and, you know, I am not an expert in this at all, but the shiny ones are a big deal. Like, the gold standard. And a Pokemon will show up every 15 to 18 minutes, something like that. And you can use those to do battles against other people. Zebra, you didn't have to do that. Thank you. Thank you so much. I should do some shout-outs. I don't think any of my mods are in here just yet, so I'm gonna do them myself, because we got some streamers in here, including Stunt Mama. Stunt Mama's in the house. Aketen. No Dixper for this one. I have to figure out how to subscribe. There is no... Okay, so for those of you that don't know, as I do these shoutouts, Goldie is the author of the book that we're reading. And he is an honored guest in my chat. He's been a faithful watcher now for a few weeks. As we've been leading up to get to his book, and his presence here has been awesome. And it is my hope that once we finish this book, that I can get him in Discord, get him on the phone, so to speak, and we can have a chat, and we can ask him some questions. So, yeah. Oh yes, and my newest friend, Zebra, she's a lot of fun. You gotta go check her out. She's a great singer too, so you can redeem channel points and she'll sing to you. Thank you for the shout out. You're absolutely welcome. Alright, so I don't know how many of you play Stream Raiders, but we need your help. Big time, because we're actually about to do a boss battle. Teaser, we will find out tonight why it is important, excuse me, to keep in mind that I wrote the book in 2019. Oh boy. Alright, let me switch over to Stream Raiders real quick. We might end up doing this twice. Alright, so we have a boss battle. Let's see. Which one do we want to do? Rare scrolls, 10 plus gold drops. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. So, oh boy. Alright. First things first. I gotta place a unit. I'm gonna go with Archer, and we're gonna go on the left side, I think. Alright, so let me do a quick battle plan here. I'm gonna let you basically place anything you want. Just understand that when you choose your units, it's gonna highlight which ones it affects, like which ones it's good against. But I definitely want to make sure we get some archers in here, and we're definitely gonna need a row of tanks to help us. And if you have any healing capabilities, why is this being like this? There we go. That would be awesome. All right. Good luck, because we're gonna need it. I don't know if my stream readers will load. It's been funny since Twitch changed our stream codes or whatever. Oh, interesting. I play, but I have no idea what I'm doing. Just place units. It's fine. Even if your units end up being pawns that, you know, die on their sword, so to speak, so that others may live, it's fine. Bubble's in the house. Hey, Bubble. How you doing? One of my mods. I'm gonna give Bubble a quick shout out too. Bubble07. Don't hold it against him that he's from Australia, because beyond that, he's a fantastic guy. He's part of the Plat Squad. So before I start reading the book, I helped found the USG, United Storytellers Group. There's a whole bunch of us. If you look down below in the About section, you'll see a panel of people that you can follow that are from the USG. And I'm also now a proud member of the Plat Squad, which is where Stunt Mom is from, Purple's from, Bubble is from, and many, many, many more. There's a link down below for their Discord. Feel free to check them out. There's a bunch of great streamers in there. They're all nuts in their own regard, and that's why we love them. So, with that in mind, I think it's time we get into some reading. Wouldn't you agree? Love my Plat Squad fam. You don't use your tweeter, so Plat Squad can retweet your stream. Yeah, I did set up my Twitter account, but I've used it like 3 times in the past 2 months, okay? It is what it is. Alright, so for the reading, I'm going to do a quick recap. So we've read the first 3 chapters so far, so we're just getting into this book. We have many more pages to go. And essentially, there is in my Discord a reading recap, and that's what I'm looking at right now. So if you're curious at any point and want to look back so that you're, you know, up to speed, feel free to check out the Discord, !Discord, so you can see that. But essentially, this book is toiling with disease and peril. It starts off in 1347 in the Mediterranean Sea. There's a captain that is, and I'm definitely summarizing here because there's a lot of great content that I'm skipping over. But to summarize, there's a captain of a merchant vessel. He has a crew. He has supplies. He is desperately trying to escape. But it turns out that fate is not on his side. Some of his crew members definitely get sick, and it's all based on this battle, and bodies were thrown over the wall of this city, and they were disease-ridden, and it got into the water supply, and thousands got sick, and it's basically what the beginning of a bubonic plague is, and this is based on real-life events in history. But then we jump forward in time, and we meet a couple of new characters. We meet Angela in Boston. She's she's a college student. She's got I forget which science degree she has, but she's like really smart with the sciences. And she ends up getting accepted into an internship, and she's gonna, I'm assuming we'll find out more about this internship and how it all weaves together, because then we have this other character, Alex, who's formerly Russian, now living in the United States, and he's struggling with himself because he doesn't want to be like his father, but he's looking himself in the mirror, and he's finding that he is turning into exactly what his father was, and he doesn't really know how he feels about that. He's dealing with PTSD. He's meeting with a doctor. He finds himself in jail after drinking way too much at this Russian bar where his dad used to go and where he grew up as a kid. And the one person he calls is not his wife. It's this doctor who he didn't see eye to eye with. And now we're gonna see what happens next. So that's basically as far as we got. So yeah, that's our quick preview of what we've done. We're now about to hit chapter 4, and if you are at all interested in this book, I gotta remember what my command was. I am a terrible streamer, seriously. What the heck did I put as my command? I wrote it, I had it before. Hold on, I gotta look this up because it's important. It is important. This is a great book, and I want you to be able to have the chance to go and check it out for yourself. So let me just quickly look at my commands here because I want to make sure. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought it was. Okay, exclamation BR. I'm just glad I'm not the only one. Bubble's the worst streamer. That is not true, Bubble. Not true at all. You're amazing. Alright, there's a Pokemon in chat, so if you want to catch it, exclamation Poke-Catch. Good luck. Winners will be revealed in 90 seconds. But there's the Amazon link to the book. I highly recommend it. We've had a blast with it so far. And now that I've gabbed on enough, I will be the worst streamer. Atkinson knows this. You just technically challenged, Hicks. That's all. That's all it is. Okay. Oh, it's Poke Shop instead of Poke Buy. Stunt Papa in the house. Hey, bud. I heard you're in Platinum Squad now. Congrats. Thank you. I am. Yes. New member as of less than a week ago, I think. Or maybe just about a week now. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And happy Veterans Day to you, sir. Absolutely. Feel free to ask the author me any questions as we read. Yeah, absolutely. If you have questions about what I'm about to dive into, hopefully if I can ever get there, hit up Goldie. He is the author. And yeah, with that in mind, here we go. Chapter 4, May 2020, Route 84, Connecticut, late morning. The droning buzz of tires traversing asphalt fills the car interior as it travels south. The melodic hum is interrupted by regular kerchunks as the tires pass over sections of highway. The rhythm lulls Angela into a driver's trance. Her ears pop slightly as she descends from the low mountains of Massachusetts towards the Connecticut River Valley. The northern Connecticut towns of Union, Stanford, and Manchester pass in a blur as her mind remains numb from the boredom and repetition of this particular drive. Before long, Angela approaches the city of Hartford, Connecticut. Hartford is the capital of Connecticut, but is also considered the insurance capital of the world. The city skyline is punctuated with large buildings, emblazoned with the logos of prominent U.S. insurance companies. Mixed into the lot of buildings...
Don't look now, Atkinson, but you have someone new following you.
Chew, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome in. Hello, Atkinson. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Welcome in. We're just getting started with the read part. So, enjoy, sit back, relax, and I'll be with you all momentarily. Mixed into the lot of buildings is standard colonial insurance, which became a focus of the Sindile household. Angela's mother spent hours on the phone with standard colonial representatives as she battled her cancer. There must be something new about the building, Angela thinks as it looms over her, casting its shadow across the highway. She intently stares at the building with the company name scrawled across the top as free billboard advertising. Angela thinks of the various envelopes and letters she observed as she read the contents to her ailing mother. As she glares at the logo, she notices the text is slightly italicized. On the letterhead, the font was stiff, bold block letters, similar to those found on a keyboard. Angela considers how the standard colonial marketing team and executives probably spent hours analyzing this change while her mother lay buried in a cemetery in southern southern New Jersey. I can't read tonight, obviously. Great start. Thousands of the firm's clients die each year, but their premiums make possible this meaningless marketing change. Angela bitterly laughs to herself. As a child, Angela became very close to her mother. For most of Angela's childhood, it was just her and her mother. Her sister, Kate, is 8 years older than Angela. Therefore, she was away from home, beginning her life as Angela struggled through her teenage years. Angela's therapist suggested that the loss of her father led her to have a fear of abandonment. Unsurprisingly, her mother's cancer diagnosis was an earth-shattering blow to Angela. She found out about her mother's illness at the beginning of her senior year of high school. This was the first time she saw the block letters and ship logo of Standard Colonial. Her mother had left a letter from the company on the counter describing the cancer coverage outlined in her policy. Earlier, her mother had read the letter and discarded it on the counter as she retrieved a glass of Merlot and drank in silence in the living room. Shocked by the implications of the letter, Angela marched into the living room, demanding an explanation. Her mother explained that prior to their summer road trip, she had a mass removed. She received the results after they returned from the trip, and the doctors determined that the mass was cancerous and the cancer had spread to her lymph nodes. In that moment, Angela's heart sank. She hadn't realized that as they spent the summer touring college campuses, cancer was raging through her mother's body. Did that delay in treatment cost her mother her life? Was Angela to blame? The pair's final college stop was Harvard University. Angela was an exceptional student and was interested in a pre-med track. The day of her visit was perfect. She had spent 2 weeks traveling up and down the East Coast with her mother, looking at Ivy League schools. A mild Boston summer day made the tour a pleasant experience. Angela marveled at the history of the campus as the tour guide took them through Harvard Yard, Widener Library, and one of the dorm rooms. Angela learned that the university was founded in 1636 by John Harvard and is the United States' oldest higher learning institution. The tour guide relayed that 8 U.S. presidents, 150 Nobel laureates, and 2 tech mogul dropouts attended Harvard. Following the tour, Angela and her mother ate lunch at a Mexican restaurant a few blocks from the campus. Over burritos, the pair fantasized about the opportunity to attend such a prestigious university. During that summer trip, Angela developed a relationship where her mom was more than just a protector and security blanket. As they discussed her aspirations, she realized her mom was her best friend and confidant. The highway exit continued to pass through Angela's rearview mirror as she remembers those last moments with her mother. As Angela reaches the approximate halfway mark in her journey across Connecticut, exit 31 joins its companions in her rearview mirror. In March, after her mom's passing, Angela received the bittersweet news that she was accepted to Harvard. The university offered an amazing financial aid package. However, it was still more than Angela could afford under her new circumstances. She was accepted to all the universities she applied to. Her mother would have been so proud of her. Ultimately, she accepted the full scholarship opportunity at Boston University in the honors program. She felt a longing to be close to the university that held such fond memories of her dreams and of her mother. She also decided to change from pre-med to a molecular biology degree. Angela didn't just want to help people. She wanted to help people beat cancer. That August, Kate drove Angela to Boston to drop her off her freshman year at Boston University. They arrived on Sunday and stayed in a hotel in Kenmore Square. Kate found it peculiar that Angela wanted to spend the afternoon walking around Harvard's campus rather than walking around the university she would attend. Angela showed Kate the classroom buildings, the library, and the science center. She relayed the tour guide's facts to her sister. Finally, they capped the trip by eating at the same Mexican restaurant. With good intentions, Kate pointed out the advantages that Boston University offered Angela. Kate failed to recognize the emotional importance this slice of earth held in Angela's heart. Every Sunday during the school year, Angela ventures to the Harvard campus to consider her thoughts and ponder the advice her mother would give her if she were alive. This weekly routine makes Angela appreciate the location of Warren Towers. On warm, sunny fall and spring days, she spends 40 minutes walking down Commonwealth Avenue to the Memorial Bike Path and then turns onto Western Avenue to reach the Harvard campus. Unfortunately, Boston has its fair share of cold, wet winter days. However, the subway stop in front of the dorm allows Angela to circumvent the weather. She takes the Green Line inbound to Park Street Station and switches to the outbound Red Line to reach the Harvard campus. Ironically, the public transit option takes her just as long door to door. Upon arriving at the campus, Angela stops at the Old Town newsstand to get the Sunday Globe newspaper and a coffee. She slowly walks the outer square of the Harvard courtyard. With her coffee in hand, she crosses the road. She walks past the Sanders Theater to the Harvard Science Center. She enters the building, sits in an armchair of the lobby. She reads the newspaper, from the headline-grabbing front page to the sports articles on the back page. After finishing the paper and the coffee, she reverses her journey, including a full lap around the Harvard courtyard. This weekly pilgrimage allows Angela to find peace and focus. The miles tick away as Angela enters the southern part of Connecticut. A 56-foot cross monitors her approach into Waterbury. But to be fair, the cross oversees all travelers headed east or west on the highway. Although a relic from a dilapidated religious amusement park, the cross stands majestically among its neglected compatriots. The Waterbury skyline is littered with church spires of various denominations. That would be more appropriate. The last time Angela was in a church was for her father's funeral. She lost all faith in God that day. All her life, she heard how wonderful and merciful God was. And if God was so good, righteous, and merciful, how could He take such a wonderful and honest man like her father? She determined that day that the idea of God must be a lie. Unfortunately, that day in the church is one of the few vivid memories Angela has about her father. Most of her impressions of her father are cobbled together through a word jitters. Concatenation of stories and memories of other people. If I had a flub command or a whoops command, that would have been it right there. I should probably make one. Angela was a precocious 5-year-old, and she sat in a church pew staring blankly at her father's closed casket. A stream of people, many in uniform, delivered their heartfelt condolences to Angela. However, she remembers this mostly from her mother and sister recapping the day in the years following the funeral. Angela spent the day in a dull, unfeeling shock. She does remember a man in uniform bending down on a knee and presenting himself on her level. He told her how her father often spoke of her and how he would have had the biggest smile when he relayed her last antics to the unit. At the end of speaking, the man stood and shoved his hands into his pockets. Before he turned and walked away from Angela, he pulled a wrapped candy out of his pocket to give to her. It was a hard candy with a cream filling. The candy was warm and malleable after spending time in the man's pocket and was wrapped in a multicolored plastic that was twisted at the ends. Angela looked around to see if anyone in the church was paying attention to her. She unwrapped the candy and placed it quickly into her mouth. She felt defiant, eating a sweet inside the confines of the church. The sweetness exploded on her tongue and made her realize how hungry she was. The soldier smiled at her enjoyment. Before he left, he patted her on the head and told her, "You will be okay in time." Before that day in church, her few memories of her father were joyous returns after long absences, which were followed by heartbreaking departures. She remembers watching him cheering while sitting in a set of bleachers. She could never place exactly what event they were at, but she guesses it was one of Kate's soccer games. She can remember him cooking burgers on the grill in the backyard for a party. But these are just flashes of memories, like a set of pictures in her mind. What she knows about Frank Sindile, the man, comes from an oral history. Angela's mother loved to talk about Frank, and those trips down memory lane were full of detail and open honesty. She spoke of Frank, the man, not an icon. She shared his virtues and faults. Angela never knew her father directly, but her mother's account gave her an understanding of a proud man, loving father, and honorable soldier. One time, her mother relayed that while drinking a flat beer from a Dixie cup, a boy named Frank approached her. He complimented her Halloween outfit, sexy nurse. He was cleverly dressed as Frankenstein's monster and asked if she knew how to remove his uncomfortable neck bolts. That's funny. The pair spent the night raiding the costumes of the various fraternity party attendees. Best costume went to an industrious senior who home-crafted a RoboCop outfit. The outfit had copious amounts of cardboard and silver spray paint to recreate the crime-eradicating cyborg. Frank joked that the losing costume was an unoriginal junior who arrived as a sexy nurse. By Christmas break, Frank and Julie had become a couple. The night before their college graduation, Frank proposed to Julie. Frank took a position as an engineer at a local manufacturing company. 9 months later, Kate was born. By then, the United States was in the middle of a recession that was sparked by Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. Julie always marveled at how a country halfway around the world played such a pivotal role in the shaping of their futures. Frank was laid off from his position in the summer following his daughter Kate's birth. With the labor market extremely tight, he joined the Marines. He joined just after Operation Desert Storm liberated Kuwait from the grip of Iraq. Over the next few years, the family of 3 moved around the country as he transferred among several military bases. In the summer of 1998, the couple found out they had a second baby on the way. Eager to settle down, Frank did not sign his Marines contract renewal. After the birth of their second daughter in January, he separated from the Marines and settled in southern New Jersey. He secured a position at an engineering consulting firm located in Freehold, New Jersey. The work was challenging, but afforded him the opportunity to travel a short 15 miles to get home in the evenings. Julie spent the next couple of years balancing the duties of a mother of an 8-year-old and a newborn. She was relishing the joy of having Frank home each night to tuck the girls into bed. The pair never missed a soccer game, swim lesson, or parent-teacher conference. The trio was now an efficiently operating quartet. Ultimately, the bliss was short-lived. As Julie watched the Second World Trade Tower fall, she knew Frank would not be able to stay on the sidelines. He arrived home early that day and told Julie he'd planned to enroll with the National Guard. He wanted to provide his services to the coming war on terrorism, but he understood he had obligations to his growing family. Frank joined the 112th Field Artillery Unit out of Morristown, New Jersey. The United States war on terrorism started with the invasion of Afghanistan to dismantle al-Qaeda. But the theater of operation opportunistically expanded to include Iraq. The United States administration sought to root out all weapons of mass destruction under the control of Iraq's leader, Saddam Hussein. With the flick of a pen on those orders, the Sindhi family found their fates tied, once again, to Iraq. After the United States invaded Iraq in 2003, an insurgency arose. At the beginning of 2004, the 112th Field Artillery Unit was deployed to offer operational support to the active army units in Iraq. Frank explained to Julie that his unit was tasked with providing a security detail to Sadr City. I'm probably butchering that. Julia is my name? I know. I saw it on your Instagram. Ultimately, the unit was expected to project a presence to discourage the locals from acting lawlessly. The unit drove a convoy of Humvees through the streets and responded to hot encounters. On his 97th day in Iraq, Frank's convoy encountered an improvised explosive device. Several days later, Angela was sitting in a pew, sucking on a candy and staring at a flag-covered coffin. Angela's mom told her that only a few weeks later the 9/11 Commission issued its final report. The commission was established to provide a full account of the circumstances surrounding the 9/11 attacks. A portion of the report stated that there was no evidence of an operational relationship between the Saddam Hussein regime and al-Qaeda. In addition, there were no stockpiles of weapons of mass destruction ever found in Iraq. Therefore, there was no reason for Frank to have been in Iraq. Faulty intelligence had delivered Frank to his death. This fact infuriated Julie, and she thought about it every day for the rest of her life. Her stomach rumbling interrupts Angela's thoughts as she passes the Blue Colony diner at exit 10. It is one of her traditions to stop at the diner and get a meal to tide her over for the rest of the journey. On her dozens of trips back and forth, she has become friendly with the waitstaff. Whether she is there for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, she finishes the meal with a slice of their famous blueberry pie. After getting a late start this morning, she does not have time to make a stop. As it is, she expects to be an hour late reaching her sister's house. It may be worse if she hits afternoon rush hour traffic in New Jersey. Considering their recent tension, Angela wants to avoid being late at all costs. She will call Kate when she leaves Connecticut and has a better sense of her specific arrival time. This is my real-life mother's tradition. That's awesome. After Angela's mom passed, Kate moved back into the house in Hamilton. Kate wanted to provide Angela some security during her senior year of high school. This arrangement both tightened and strained the sisters' relationship. Since Kate was 8 years older than Angela, the pair only shared minimal cohabitation experiences. When their father had passed, Kate was a hormonal teenager. The death of Frank created a seismic shift in Kate. The formerly gregarious and outgoing child became reserved and introverted. Kate stopped participating in team and school activities. Many afternoons, Angela did not realize Kate was home from school. She sequestered herself in her room away from family and friends. Their mother repeatedly tried to engage with Kate, but found little success. At the time, Angela did not mind the outcome. It meant she received her mother's undivided attention. Later, when Angela was in high school, she often thought about what a shame it was that Kate had missed out on all the joys of high school. Angela was on the swim and volleyball teams, and in school musicals. She had an expansive set of friends who enjoyed trips to the beach and going to concerts. She gained an appreciation for Kate's introversion when she, too, retreated inward after her mom's passing. All right, I will do a quick pause there because we still have a couple of pages, so that way we can do our stream raiders and see if we die. All right. Ooh, that's fun. Nice rogue there. All right. I don't know how this is going to play out, but good luck. Fingers crossed, and your toes and whatever else you got. Well, we're doing okay. It's kind of neck and neck right now, but we're doing okay. I'm heading out. We're going to finish Squid Game tonight and then watch some Great British Bake Off. I love that show. So does my wife. Thank you, Papa, for coming in, saying hello, and hanging out for a bit. Have a good night. Have a great stream. Thank you. We are having a great stream. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Absolutely. There we go. Game over. We did it. Whew. Oh boy. All right. Good job, everyone. And purple. Getting some Centurion scrolls. As always, glad to be here. Thank you, Stunt. Thank you so much. All right. Moving on to a brand new map. Woot woot. Let's get this rolling, and then we can keep reading. Let's see. Let's go with a musketeer, because I need some of those. Let's go up here. And again, you know, I don't need to get crazy with the mapping here. Just having a plan helps. Alright. I don't play much. My units are trash. Well, you captain a lot, so you know what you're doing. It's okay. Alright, I've missed a ton of chat, but something about hacking and Bubble's not a hacker. Okay, yeah, I've obviously missed a lot. But do I, though? Well, I've noticed that you play the same unit over and over every time you start a battle. And I always want to say something, but I never get the chance. So, it's fine. It's fine. Alright, I'm going to keep reading. We are on halfway through page 47. We have a few pages left of the chapter. So, here we go. Getting a very in-depth look into the life of Angela, which is very much appreciated so that we can understand who this character is. So, let's keep going. Angela cannot remember a time when Kate had a friend over to the house, until she came home from college with her new boyfriend. During winter break of her sophomore year of college, Kate brought Mark home to meet the family. Mark was a senior at the same high school, and a mutual friend introduced the two. He was born and raised in Philadelphia and came from a prestigious family. His family owned several small businesses and had myriad real estate properties across Pennsylvania. Mark was wealthy, and that was immediately evident from the way he dressed and spoke. He also seemed to burst into the room as he entered, scanning the faces and his surroundings. He quickly assessed the hierarchy of those present and marched himself over to the Alpha. Mark would introduce himself and, in short order, mention his family name and importance. Those lower on the totem pole would never see more than the back of his head. Well, I do say. Even as a child, Angela could tell Mark was full of fake actions, fake smiles, fake compliments, and fake gestures. She never warmed up to him and kept a skeptical distance from him. However, Mark spent considerable time romancing Kate. He took her away on ski weekends and spent vacations at his family's lake home in Pennsylvania. He bought her fancy dresses and exquisite jewelry. Mark filled the male protector role that Kate craved after the loss of her father. When Kate moved back home after their mother's death, it allowed Angela to spend quality time with her sister. In addition, it afforded them opportunity to interact without Mark sucking all the oxygen out of the room. During the weekdays, the sisters spent all their time together. Each night they sat down to dinner together and got to know each other as peers and not just sisters. Kate attended Angela's various events. She helped Angela pick out her dress for the prom. Angela was desperately looking for someone to fill the hole she left inside, and Kate made herself 100% available. Later, Angela realized that by filling that hole, Kate kept her from slipping into a severe depression. When she had this epiphany, she suddenly recognized that Kate had had no one to fill in for her, or for the father figure she had lost. Angela realized the attention Mark directed towards Kate was filling that need for her. At the time of her father's death, Angela only had snippets of memories of him, but Kate had fully realized experiences and connections. The loss hit Kate in a way that did not affect Angela. When their mother passed, the situation was reversed. While Kate was sad with the death of her mother, Angela was shredded. Kate knew she could step in and fill the mother role for Angela. On weekends, the sisters stayed in the Hoboken apartment with Mark. When she was younger, Angela felt uncomfortable around Mark, but these weekends made her dislike him intensely. Surprisingly, Mark was even more pompous and arrogant behind closed doors than he was out in public. He had an opinion on everything and believed only those were the correct opinions. Furthermore, he treated Kate as a second-class citizen in her own home. Kate was subservient to Mark's every whim and desire. Before this, Angela had accepted the relationship because she believed Kate was getting the father figure attention she needed. After spending private time with the couple, Angela realized the dresses, the jewelry, and trips were Mark's method of presenting Kate to satisfy his desires. He didn't do those actions with the intent to pamper her. Angela almost felt embarrassed for Kate regarding her clear lack of self-esteem. When the sisters returned to Hamilton on Sunday nights, Kate exuded confidence, leadership, and her own opinions. As much as possible, Angela tried to make excuses to stay with friends in Hamilton for the weekend. Shortly after Angela's high school graduation, Kate and Mark bought a home in Princeton, New Jersey. During school breaks, Angela moved into Kate's guest bedroom. In the winter of her freshman year at Boston University, Angela spent her first extended period of time with Kate and Mark. The scene was grim, as the couple was fighting daily. One night, after Mark stormed out of the house, Angela found Kate crying in the living room. Kate admitted to Angela that she had discovered Mark cheated on her the previous spring. Kate's first impulse was to leave Mark, and she would have, except she had just found out she was pregnant. Angela hugged her sister enthusiastically and congratulated her on the news of her baby. When they broke the hug and Kate was crying harder than ever, it dawned on Angela the implications of Kate's situation. Later that week, Angela returned to Boston, making up a lame excuse about a school project she had to complete. She spent the last 2 weeks of that break with Sammy in Dorchester. Before she left, she told Kate to move into their mom's old house. Kate rejected the suggestion. She needed to work things out with Mark. The couple entered counseling and remained together. Angela never could look at either of them the same again. In May of Angela's freshman year, Kate's son was born. The honking of horns draws Angela from her thoughts. In front of her eyes is a sea of red taillights. Midday commuters lay on their horns, hoping the sound waves will magically blow a path through the traffic. Yeah, right. Her stomach rumbles again. It doesn't appear that she will be getting a chance to stop for food anytime soon. She curses under her breath, wishing she were eating a slice of pie at the diner. With a sigh, Angela picks up her phone and dials her sister. The phone rings several times until she hears the knowing click. "Hi, I'm going to be late," she states. And that's the end of chapter 4. A great chapter. So we just got a very intense look into the life of Angela and some of her upbringing and connections with her parents and her sister especially. And yeah, it was good. Helps us really get to know who it is that's going to be, part of this story and how it all connects. So it's great to hear. Okay. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you're enjoying this book. Chapter 5 is May of 2020, Princeton, New Jersey in the afternoon. And I'm just scanning through some of the pages here. It looks like it's got a lot of dialogue and there's some interesting things going on. So without further ado, I'm just going to keep going. I am going to take a quick peek at the Stream Raiders battle though. There we go. I personally like when there is good background on the main character. Yeah, it helps because, there could be a twist in there somewhere. There could, like a plot twist or something could happen to the character later on, good or bad. And if we don't know who they are, we don't really know how to react other than the context that's given in the moment of the thing that happens. So yeah, I think it's great to have some in-depth insight on who it is that we're learning about when those actions happen. So I'm glad she got a chapter kind of, devoted to herself. So that's good. All right. As I said, chapter 5, May of 2020, Princeton, New Jersey in the afternoon. With an ache in her back and a sense of dread in her chest, Angela finally pulls into her sister's driveway. She parks her car directly behind her sister's vehicle to leave Mark room to pull into the garage. Angela grabs the discarded bag from her takeout order from a fast food drive-thru in northern New Jersey. With the empty soda cup and the paper wrapper of her sandwich stuffed into the bag, Angela exits the car. She grabs her suitcase from the back seat and shuffles up the sidewalk to her sister's front door. She presses the doorbell and hears a loud, "Come in," from the interior of the house. Angela places her bag down in the foyer and calls out for her sister. I'm in the living room, she responds. Angela crosses the foyer and enters the living room to find her sister standing in front of the TV with the remote in her hand. Hey sis, give me 1 second. I wanted to see this news story, Kate explains. The TV screen shows 2 news anchors sitting at a desk heading into the next news story of the day. Over the shoulder of the male anchor, there is a graphic showing video of people wearing white medical masks. The wide shot zooms in, cutting out the female anchor as the male begins to read the story off the teleprompter. The recent illness outbreak identified in China seems to have spread into neighboring Vietnam. Governmental officials in Vietnam have reported their first case believed to be related to this viral outbreak. The blood work of the individual is currently being tested for the SARS markers. The World Health Organization has requested entry into China to study this current outbreak and to determine its connection, if any, to SARS. As a preventative action, people throughout Vietnam have begun to wear medical masks. Yep, written in 2019. It makes total sense. As China enters the second week of an outbreak of an atypical pneumonia, panic has gripped the Chinese region of I'm gonna mess this up. Guangxi? Is that how you say that? Guangxi? The Chinese government refuses to provide official statistics on the outbreak sweeping the rural farmland. Chinese officials will only state that there has been an atypical amount of cases from a pneumonia-like illness. The same officials deny that the illness is another SARS outbreak. However, medical experts in the United States suspect that an extent of the disease is more widespread than Chinese officials will confirm. Close enough. All right, I'll take that. My apologies, accent. I've got to go. Good night, all. Enjoy. No worries, Hicks. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a great night. Be well rested. You have work in the morning. The Guangxi region is located in southern China and borders the country of Vietnam. This expansive, mountainous territory has more than 46 million inhabitants focused on growing crops, such as rice and maize, and breeding livestock. Overall, the region is economically poor and has limited medical facilities to support its citizens. This makes the area fertile for the development and outbreak of various infectious diseases. The World Health Organization is fearful that this outbreak could evolve into an epidemic as hundreds of thousands of migrant workers spread the disease throughout the region. While the World Health Organization is concerned by the recent news out of China, they declared today that it is too early to deem the outbreak a global health emergency. Guangxi has long been a breeding ground of infectious diseases. It is suspected that in 2003, the severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS, epidemic began in this region. Furthermore, some historians have linked the region to the outbreak of the bubonic plague in the 14th century. This current outbreak presents similar symptoms to the 2003 SARS virus. SARS is a viral respiratory illness caused by a coronavirus. In 2003, it ultimately killed 774 people worldwide. Phil Cashman from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention stated that the organization is exploring preventative measures to protect. ... Kate turns off the TV and places the remote on the coffee table. She takes a few steps around the couch and embraces Angela in a warm hug. Sorry about that. I really wanted to get an update on the outbreak. How was your drive? Do you think I should buy one of those masks for Jackson? Kate fires at Angela in rapid succession. I hit a lot of traffic, but that's my own fault for getting a late start. Has the outbreak reached the United States? Inquires Angela. No, it just seems to be in China right now. Then I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. Angela reassures her. Where is Jackson? He is taking his afternoon nap. He'll be up in about an hour, Kate says. Are you hungry? Not really. I managed to get some food on the drive down. Okay. How about later we get some Chinese food for dinner? Kate asks. Doesn't Mark hate Chinese food? Inquires Angela. He does, but he will not be here for dinner, so it's a perfect time for me to get my Kung Pao chicken fix, Kate says with excitement. Where is Mark? He had to leave this morning on a business trip to Chicago. He's actually going to be gone for the rest of the week. Are you all right with that? Asks Angela. Of course. He has some very important client meetings to attend, Kate defensively explains. Okay, Angela dismissively offers. An uncomfortable silence settles between the two sisters. Angela's mind races for some thread of conversation to break the tension. As the seconds advance, she grasps for any topic, but her mind remains blank. With great relief, she hears Kate speak. I'm sorry, what did you say? Angela questions. I said when I was cleaning out the Hamilton house. Excuse me. When I was cleaning out the Hamilton house, I found a cardboard box with Dad's name on it. It looked like it was a bunch of memorabilia. I thought we could go through it together. Oh, that's a great idea, Angela exclaims. She is relieved there is an opportunity to create a distraction from their exchange about Mark. Kate stands up and heads to the basement where she's storing the container. Angela takes the opportunity to clear the magazines and TV remote from the coffee table. She opens the coffee table drawer, places the magazine on the stack of the periodicals already there, and adds the remote to the other remotes in the drawer. Angela slides to the left cushion to provide Kate ample room to settle on the couch. With these tasks complete, she takes out her phone to text Sammy that she arrived safely. Hi, I arrived safe. I hit some traffic. Mark is away on a business trip. So excited. Angela types into her device. A second after she hits send, a gray bubble with 3 dots starts blinking in the bottom left section of the text string. With a bleep, Sammy's message is added to the text string. Awesome, Sammy responds. Have a great time. XOXO. Kate enters the living room carrying a mid-sized cardboard box. Angela has used this type of box many times to pack her textbooks at the end of each semester. The box has a reinforced bottom and a separate cardboard lid that can be removed and set aside. In the upper left corner, in black Sharpie, their father's name is neatly printed in their mother's handwriting. Kate places the box down on the right side of the coffee table, thus leaving room on the left side to place the contents of the box. Kate removes the lid and places it on the floor, leaning up against the coffee table. Do you know what's in the box? Asks Angela. I took a brief glance, and it appears to be items related to Dad's military career, but I thought it would be fun to go through it together, explains Kate. She reaches into the box and comes out first with a stack of photos. On the top of the stack, there is a formal picture of their father in his Marine uniform. The photo is a headshot of their father sitting in front of an American flag. In the photo, their father appears to be in his early 20s. Angela's gaze is first drawn to the white Marine's utility hat sitting firmly on her father's head. On the front panel above the brim is a unique symbol. The symbol contains an eagle sitting on top of a globe and an anchor. Just under the brim are her father's piercing blue eyes. His eyes seem to be open wide, indicating that he is hyper-attentive to his surroundings. Those eyes are contrasted by the relatively flat expression across the rest of his face. Angela expected to observe a clenched jaw to accompany his eyes. His face is so neat and smooth that Angela guesses he completed his shave mere moments before this photo was taken. Her father is wearing his Marine's dress blues, which consist of a midnight blue heavy jacket with red trim. The pinned metal on his chest displays a bronze coin with the imagery of an eagle with inverted wings standing on a sword and palm branch. Printed in capital letters across the top are the words National Defense. The bronze coin is suspended from a shield-shaped ribbon, and the ribbon has a series of multicolored vertical stripes. Angela feels a sense of pride wash over her. In the photo, he appears to be not much older than she is now. I miss the Pokemon. I'm upsetty spaghetti. Don't worry, there'll be more. Oh my god, look at how young Dad looks, exclaims Angela. He was so handsome, responds Kate. She turns the photo over, and in the same neat print is written, Frank Sindile, U.S. Marine, September 1991, age 23. What do you think that medal is for? Asks Angela. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's for something heroic, Kate replies. The second photo is a full-body shot of a much older man walking in the street. Angela is shocked to see her father holding a large rifle pointing toward the ground. She feels silly being surprised by the sight. After all, he was a soldier in the military. The photo background shows an arid climate. Angela suspects this is a photo from his time in Iraq. In the next photo, their father is wearing the same uniform. However, this time he's not wearing a helmet. In the photo, there are several other soldiers standing casually in a row for the impromptu picture. Kate passes the photo to Angela, who turns the photo over. This time, Angela observes her father's messy scrawl of writing. The Gang, Iraq 2004. John F., Ted W., Frank S., Mike H., Dean S., Al V., Raymond R., and Ernesto S. The next three photos are more personal. The first one is their father with a beaming smile, holding a sleeping baby in his arms. In the next photo, he appears older and is looking up at the camera from his seated position. That's because the older we get, the more we sit down, okay? It's just nature. You gotta go with it. He has large bags under his eyes, showing his exhaustion. This baby is swaddled in a white towel with thin pink and blue stripes, and is staring directly into the camera. The bright crystal blue eyes of this baby make it obvious that it is Angela. The final photo in this grouping is a picture of their parents. The pair appears to be in an intimate embrace as they are sitting on the beach. Both of them are showing off their athletic figures. As they hold each other, their faces are turned to each other in a loving gaze. Kate then begins to pull out numerous ribbons, colored bars, and medals. The last medal from the box is the one the sisters observed in the formal photo of their father. Kate places the coin in her palm with the shield-shaped ribbon covering her fingers. After inspecting the medal for a short period of time, Kate passes it to Angela. She holds it in a similar manner. Angela marvels that the medal from the photo is now sitting in her hand. She feels a direct connection to the man from the photo. Do you think this is the exact same medal from the photo? Angela wonders. Oh, I'm sure it is, Kate responds. She reaches into the box again and withdraws a colorful patch. The patch reminds her of the badges she earned as a Girl Scout. The patch has alternating reds and yellows and is topped with a lion's head. In the yellow stripe that cuts diagonally across the patch, there appear to be two cannons. I wish I knew what these medals and patches mean, Angela says with frustration. Agreed. I really don't know much about Dad's military career, Kate adds. What else is in the box? Questions Angela. There only appears to be his flag left, Kate says. She pulls out a flag that is sealed in a clear plastic bag. The flag is folded in a right triangle that shows off the white stars in the field of blue. In a sudden flash, Angela is whisked back to the day of her father's funeral. She can visualize the flag being draped over her father's casket as it sat suspended over her father's burial plot. Angela remembers that after the pastor finished his blessing, a soldier played taps on a bugle. As the song ended, soldiers approached her father's casket. Angela felt apprehension about what was going to happen next. The soldiers reached down and grabbed the corners of the flag. They moved to the side of the casket and with military efficiency began to fold the flag. Each folding action was performed with a snap. In the end, the flag was formed into the right triangle that Angela sees in the plastic bag before her. The flag was presented to their mother, and that was the last time Angela saw the flag. For those of you that haven't heard TAPS, it is such a, what's the right word? I wish I could think of the right word right now, but it has such depth and meaning to it. I mean, obviously it has a lot of meaning to it, but when you hear it and you really listen to it, it is such it grips you. You can't not ignore it. It is mournful, yes, because of what it represents. Remembering all those lost. I remember being in basic training, and we would, TAPS would play every single night. And man, nothing else put you in a mind of calmness and stillness like that, because of the impact that it has on you, or at least should have on you. So, when I hear or listen to and read this, about TAPS, it gives me goosebumps. Alright, where was I? Where was this box? Wonders Angela. Appropriate reading for today? Yeah. It was in the closet at the bottom of the stairs in Mom's basement, mentions Kate. Seems an odd place to keep such an important set of memories. Kate grabs the box and tilts it forward to the material she removed from it to place the items back into the box. What is that at the bottom of the box? Questions Angela. What do you mean? The box is empty. Kate places the box back down and peers inside to find a piece of newspaper. She assumed the paper was there to line the box and protect the box contents. However, when she takes the newspaper out, the title on the page informs her that this is another piece of memorabilia. Kate proceeds to read the article out loud. Explosion halfway around the world hits close to home. June 25th, 2004, by Chris Robertson. Hamilton, New Jersey. A valued member of the Hamilton community gave his life in service of his country. National Guard Staff Sergeant Frank M. Sindile was killed in a firefight following a roadside explosion that struck his convoy. Last Friday, Staff Sergeant Sindile, 112th Field Artillery Unit, was on patrol in Cedar City. As the lead Humvee of the three-vehicle patrol convoy moved around a blockage in the road, it struck an improvised explosive device. With the lead vehicle on fire and the middle vehicle pinned in place by the rear vehicle, Staff Sergeant Sindile acted quickly. Facing a perilous situation, Staff Sergeant Sindile epitomized his unit's motto, "To the utmost." The Staff Sergeant exited the middle Humvee and approached the flaming automobile. Staff Sergeant Sindile directed members of his unit to establish a defensive perimeter. Staff Sergeant Sindile and two other soldiers proceeded to extract their brothers in arms from the lead vehicle. The injured were dragged behind a low wall and administered field medical attention. The unit then was assaulted with small arms fire. The unit fought off waves of attacks from an unknown number of assailants. During the ensuing battle, Staff Sergeant Sindile was shot and killed while defending his injured brothers. Eventually, additional stabilization force units were able to respond and secure the area. The event led to 2 fatalities: National Guard Staff Sergeant Frank M. Sindile and Army Corporal James T. White, and 3 injuries. Staff Sergeant Sindile was part of a pilot program that paired National Guard units with active-duty Army units in joint operations. Staff Sergeant Sindile's 112th Field Infantry Unit was matched with the Army's 1st Cavalry Division. This program joined with his National Guard unit for one of the most decorated Army divisions of all time. The 1st Cavalry Division was formed in 1921 and served during World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and Persian Gulf War. The unit is currently deployed in Iraq as a stabilization force. The unit is unique in that it has served as a cavalry horse division, an infantry division, and air assault division, and an armored division throughout its existence. These myriad experiences and this wealth of expertise made the 1st Cavalry Division an exceptional choice for the Associated Joint Unit program. Movie fanatics may recognize the 1st Cavalry Division as the unit featured in Oliver Stone's 1986 movie Platoon. Chief of Staff of the Army General Stephen A. Doherty praised the actions of Staff Sergeant Sindel in a recent interview with CNN about the Associated Joint Unit program. Staff Sergeant Sindel was a brave patriot who saved lives during a recent armed conflict. With his active Army counterparts gravely injured, Staff Sergeant Sindel took charge to secure the unit's position and attend to the injured, Doherty said. The Associated Joint Unit's objectives of establishing a comprehensive and effective joint fighting force that operates as a singular function fighting force was realized. Mr. Doherty explained that the increasing demand on the United States military to combat global terrorism requires the Army to find ways to augment its fighting capabilities. The Associated Joint Units allow the military to fully combine...
Hey, Atkinson.
Yeah?
You have someone lurking.
Oh, yeah. No, it's totally fine. It's okay.
Okay, great. Enjoy your lurk.
I love that sound alert. Witchy, enjoy the lurk. The Associated Joint Units allow the military to fully combine the capacities of the active Army, Army Reserve, and the Army National Guard. Staff Sergeant Sindel spent 8 years in the Marines before he settled on Oak Street in Hamilton with his wife and 2 daughters. After the terrorist attacks on 9/11, Staff Sergeant Sindel joined the local National Guard units based in Morristown, New Jersey. The 112th National Guard Field Artillery Unit's objective in Iraq is to provide security detail in Baghdad and the surrounding neighborhoods. The unit patrols the city streets and responds to emerging flashpoints. Staff Sergeant Sindel and his wife Julie moved to Hamilton in 1999. The couple actively volunteered at Langtree Elementary School. Until his deployment, Staff Sergeant Sindel was a youth soccer coach. Staff Sergeant Sindel is survived by his wife, Julie, and his daughters, Kate and Angela. When Kate finishes the article, the sisters sit in silence for a few moments. In the silence, Angela realizes all her mom really knew about her father's Iraq deployment was what was found in this article. Upon reflection, Angela recognizes that her parents never had an opportunity to discuss his time in Iraq. He deployed to Iraq and never returned. The lack of closure her mom experienced must have been overwhelming. Angela wonders whether this is why this box was tucked away in the basement. Kate breaks the silence by asking, "Should we do something with these items? Isn't there some sort of military display box?" asks Angela. "Yeah, I think it's called a shadow box," says Kate. "We should get one of those and display his flag, medals, and photos," decides Angela. "That is a good idea. I will look into getting one," offers Kate. "Do you mind if I keep a couple of the photos?" inquires Angela. "I want to include the formal headshot for the display box," responds Kate. "Okay, I'll take the group shot of the soldiers and the picture of Mom and Dad at the beach," decides Angela. At that moment, a baby's cry is heard simultaneously from the bedroom and over the baby monitor. Kate excuses herself to tend to Jackson. While Kate changes what sounds to be an explosive diaper, seen a few of those, Angela calls the Chinese restaurant and orders Kung Pao chicken and General Tso's chicken for dinner. While they wait for the food to arrive, Angela spends time playing with her nephew. They crawl together across the floor and explore the living room. As he sits, Angela rolls a ball to him. He picks it up tentatively, stares at it for a moment, and then throws it up in the air, in Angela's general direction. Within a short time, the doorbell rings. Kate answers and pays the delivery person. Angela picks up the baby and falls in step behind Kate. "Are we eating in the dining room?" asks Angela. "No, the table is covered with my research. The high chair is already set up at the kitchen counter. Let's eat in there," responds Kate. The sisters spend the next few hours talking about their parents. Angela is particularly interested in what Kate remembers from childhood. Kate relays both humorous and sad stories as she absent-mindedly feeds Jackson jars of baby food. Toward the end of the conversation, Angela asks, "Do you think Mom was mad that Dad enlisted in the National Guard and was sent to Iraq?" Kate ponders the question for a few moments and responds, "I don't think so. Ultimately, I think she was proud of him, proud that he would stand up and defend others. Even during his last moments, he was focused on others. If anything, I think she was sad to lose him." And that is Chapter 5. And a great time for us to move over to Stream Raiders. Alright, got lots of units in here, 25 units. I love to see it. I'm going to put that right there. Good luck. Okay, good. That's what I was hoping would happen. I was worried that we might split off and go down, but we didn't. Hopefully we don't get flanked, though. Oh, look at that. Boom. Archers doing their jobs. Good job, archers. Way to go. Savage Zebra Brommer taking the fight. Look at that. It's all over. Good job, everybody. Good job indeed. 13th age, getting the warrior scrolls. Everyone gets some gold. Good job, everybody. Alright, we got time for one more, so let's do this. Let's go out with a bang. Oh, this map. Right. Let's go in the top right corner. Of course, that's going to be stronger. Yeah. So I'll do an archer. And we'll just go right here. There you go. Plenty of places to fill up. Have at it. Do your thing. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're enjoying this book. And again, just in case you're curious, you want to see more about it, in the first stream of this book on Sunday, this past Sunday, we did read the back of the book to give context. But if you want to read that for yourself, if you missed that, by all means, go ahead and do so. That would be lovely. Lovely jubbly. Alright, so when we first started reading this book, we started out not in the kind of present tense, but we were actually in the year 1347, or right around there, I think. Let me just actually quickly double check. Yeah, 1347. And chapter 6 is actually taking us back to 1347. So, I'm imagining, based off of how the story has gone, that we're going to go back to the captain of the merchant ship, or at least meet up with him at some point during this chapter. I could be very wrong, but that's just my guess. as a reader. For those of you that don't know, I do not read ahead. I don't read this book to myself and then read it on stream. Everything I am reading right now is for the first time. And I do that so that my experience and your experience are authentic. I don't fake any of my reactions. I just read, and here it is. So there you go. All right. Hopefully everyone's relaxing right now. You're sitting back, sipping on a glass of whatever, munching on a snack maybe. Maybe you're having dinner, depending on where you are in the world. Maybe you're getting ready for bed. Who knows? But let us go with Chapter 6, October 1347, Messina, Sicily, late afternoon. Oh, and by the way, Goldie, I appreciate in your titles that you're giving us a time frame of when it is in the day. Is it, because it could be morning, it could be nighttime, but you are telling us that it is late afternoon, and I appreciate that. It gives me as a reader, and hopefully you guys listening, a sense of context as far as what could happen. Like if it's late in the afternoon, we're not going to be thinking about dinner. We're going to be, thinking about breakfast. We are going to be thinking about dinner. So good. Glad you like that part. Yeah, I appreciate the detail. It's good. I never thought about doing that with my books. So better than just chapter 6. Yep. All right. Here we go. Chapter 6, page 65 of the printed copy. Setting the cargo basket onto the dock eases the burden of Matteo's sore muscles. Using the back of his sleeve, he wipes away the sweat dripping from his brow. To the east, the sky is dark and gray with the passing of the day's storm. Throughout the day, the storm had slowly moved off with the eastward trade winds. The positioning of the Messina port takes perfect advantage of those constant sea breezes. Matteo enjoys that breeze after a hard day's work. Growing up in and around boats, Matteo could appreciate the unique natural structure of his hometown. This Messina port is a large inlet with a wide opening facing the northwest. Wow, reading today. This positioning provides incoming ships the wind in their sails to smoothly navigate the docking procedure, while transporting a full cargo haul. The inlet also protects the merchant ships, often weighed down with expensive foods, furs, spices, and gems, from the rough seas created by the storms that pass frequently overhead. But Matteo knows better than most that the true advantage of this port over others up and down the coast is the depth of the water leading right up to the dock. Over the years, working the docks, Matteo has witnessed the largest merchant ships pull into Messina and tie up to her docks. In other ports, these ships would need to anchor offshore and ferry their wares on smaller boats, thus significantly increasing the transfer time. In the shipping business, time is money. Merchant ships run on a tight budget, and a worthy ship's captain will constantly look for ways to speed up a return journey. Matteo personally enjoys the light rain that remains as the storm pushes off to sea. He is further thankful that the storm pulled the moisture out of the air, providing relief from the humidity on an exceptionally busy workday. Unfortunately, his companions do not share Matteo's sentiment. They are soaked and tired from a long day loading and unloading the ships in port. However, Matteo cannot find any fault in this day. This is a day of joy and celebration. The sun descends The sun descends towards the horizon. Its yellow and orange glow presents itself as the sun dips below the western edge of the storm clouds. Matteo has always loved after-storm sunsets. On storm days, the sun's dying grasp stretches out to the clouds, invading them with vibrant color, as the sun tries to hold on. Matteo turns his attention to the final ship of the day, being unloaded. Once this task is complete, he is free for the remainder of the day. He has a lot to do before he makes it to his modest home. His thoughts are disrupted by an audible groan from several of his fellow dockhands. Fantino smacks Matteo on his arm to grab his attention. "Just when we thought we were done," sighs Fantino. Matteo looks to his right to find Fantino pointing out to sea. "I don't think I can lift another thing today," he states, exhausted. Matteo's spirits sink. He glances to the west to see the sun a little lower in the sky. The yellow sky gives way to more hints of orange and red as the light spreads over the clouds and the sea. By the time the approaching ship docks and is unloaded, the sun will be down for the night. More importantly, the street vendors will be closed for the evening. Matteo needs to get to several shops before arriving home, or there will be no celebration. "Foreman! Foreman!" calls Matteo as he trots up the dock. "Why are you off the dock, Matteo?" the foreman yells. I know this is irregular, but may I leave for the day? You see, today's my son's birthday, and I need to stop by several vendors before they close. This day has already gone on a lot longer than I expected," Matteo pleads. "Let me ask you something. Did Marco work on the docks all day today?" questions the foreman. "Yes," responds Matteo, unsure of where this questioning is going. "What about Roberto, or Fantino?" queries the foreman. "Yes, they were both here as well," Matteo confirms. "Well, I don't see any of them asking me for the rest of the day off. There is a job to do, and I am unconcerned about the birthdays of your family. Now get down to the dock and unload that ship," bellows the foreman. Matteo is shocked. He was sure the foreman would have been more understanding. He has only one option at this point, and that is to unload that ship as fast as he can. Hopefully, he can make it to the market before the shopkeepers leave for the evening. Matteo turns his attention to the task at hand. During his conversation with the foreman, the ship moved through the mouth of the inlet. As Matteo stares at the ship, he notices a few things. First, the approach of the ship is off. The wooden merchant ship entered the harbor very close to the left shoreline of the inlet's opening. Luckily, the water depth on the left side has ample room for error. If the ship had approached that close to the right side of the harbor opening, it would have breached itself on the sand dunes, pushed there by the sea current. The second issue is inconsistency of the ship's sails. Matteo has never seen a configuration of sails that had the lower, larger sails tied up while the upper sails were at full mast. This setup will make the ship difficult to control as it attempts to come into port. The third issue is that it appears to be little activity on the deck of the ship. A mid-sized merchant ship coming into port should have dozens of sailors swarming over the deck of the ship. The men should be adjusting the sails and the rigging. They should be preparing ropes to tie up to the dock. There should be just as many men below deck securing the cargo and preparing it for unloading. The closer the ship approaches, the more a wave of dread washes over Matteo. Is this ship, gonna shoot cannons or something? Is there gonna be a fight? Let's find out. Hey, Savage, you caught a Pokemon. You got it. The Spinarak, whatever that is. Good job. Matteo continues down the dock that protrudes out to sea from a rock retaining wall. He is splashed by the mist from the crashing waves, agitated by the outgoing storm. His heart sinks as he thinks of the extra time it would take to unload a ship that is being tossed about as it lashed to the dock moorings. Matteo suddenly feels a tremble under his feet, and can hear the thumping of half a dozen other dockhands join him at the end of the dock. Fantino places a coil of rope down on the dock. Earlier, he had secured the rope and brought it to the warehouse for storing for the night. Matteo is not the only worker who thought he was done for the day. Fantino leans down and ties a length of rope to the mooring. The vessel is much closer now, but is approaching the dock at an odd angle. Proper docking procedure requires a ship to fully drop its sails about halfway into the inlet and coast into the slip alongside the dock. As the ship starts to pull alongside the dock, the sailors toss down the ropes while the dockhands simultaneously toss ropes up to the ship. Wait. They're not going to attack. I bet they're all sick. Right? That's gotta be it. They're barely, able to hang on. I bet they're all sick. That's gotta be it. I don't know. We'll find it. Each party ties the loose ropes to the metal cleats found respectively down the sides of the dock at the ship. The slack is then taken out of the rope and the ship is pulled snugly into place. The ship is not following proper protocol. Instead of coming up parallel to the dock, the wooden behemoth is barreling forward at a 20% angle. With the ship closer, Matteo notices the ship is not utilizing an unconventional sail configuration. It is now obvious that the lower sails are torn to shreds. Only tattered strips remain attached to the ship's rigging. Matteo ponders the severity of the storm the ship must have faced and the incompetence of the crew to cause such thorough damage to the sails. When faced with a storm at sea, an experienced crew will secure all the sails and close up all the hatches. A sailing crew knows that the health of the vessel is their lifeline. A ship's sails are its lifeblood. Each lost sail drains the life from the ship until it is finally dead in the water. A sailor will spring to acts of vast heroism and stupidity to protect the ship's sails. Furthermore, merchant ships will have an extra set of sails in the hold to replace any damage caused by storms or pirates. Matteo wonders if the sails he is looking at are the second set. The set of sails the ship is flying is virtually useless. If the captain had a second set, Matteo was sure he would have ordered these sails replaced. "Where is the crew?" shouts Roberto. "How do they expect us to secure the ship?" After Roberto's outburst, Matteo is now aware of a third issue. There is near silence in the air. The sailors should be heard shouting orders. There should be the sounds of feet pounding across the wooden decking. Many times, Matteo hears sailors singing songs to express their excitement at reaching land and a chance to enjoy the food, wine, and women a new port has to offer. But there is nothing but the creaking of wooden planks, the splashing of the waves, and the flapping of the sails. It is not that the ship has a small crew as Matteo first thought, but rather there appears to be no crew. "Move! Move now! She's going to crash!" hollows the foreman from the retaining wall. Matteo startles at the sudden yelling. He's been lost in He has been lost in his mesmerizing thoughts about the ship and has not noticed how close the ship is to the dock. There is now no time to correct the angle of the vessel's approach. The foreman is right. The ship is going to crash. Most of the deckhands have instinctively begun backing up. Now, with the yelling of the foreman, they turn and run back up the dock. In the sudden panic, they start to trip over each other. By the time Matteo turns around, he sees a chaotic sight in front of him. Several men manage to fall back to the land unimpeded. Four men are tangled in a heap on the wooden planks, having tripped over each other as they fled. Matteo's mind freezes as he contemplates his options. His feet feel rooted to the dock. "Jump, Matteo, jump!" screams Fantino from the safety of the retaining wall. Mateo realizes he is out of time. Excuse me. The ship is barreling down on him. With a running start, he leaps off the opposite side of the dock and into the rolling seas below. Behind him, the ship slams into the dock. The planks splinter, sending debris in all directions. The wooden support pillars take the brunt of the ship's impact. The ship's momentum snaps the post like a child would snap a twig. Mateo plummets down, landing feet first in the water. He cuts through the water's surface and sinks 20 feet. After the initial shock, Mateo begins to kick his feet. His arms reach above his head and then pull down like he is climbing an imaginary ladder. He kicks and pulls, inching closer and closer to the air he so desperately needs. Finally, he emerges and immediately begins to gulp in the misty sea air. Mateo chokes and coughs as he tries to relieve the burning in his chest. He looks towards the dock. The vessel's crushed bow looms above him. The end of the dock is severed by the presence of the ship. He notices that the wood support pillars are broken and pushed aside where the ship suddenly and violently occupied the space they once called home. One pillar fell directly in front of the ship, landing close to Mateo's current position. The top of the support pylon now lies in the water like a log of the banks of a pond. With the last of his energy, Mateo swims over and hugs that support beam. And that's a quick chapter 6. So my first guess of being attacked, or the ship attacking, was obviously way off. And it should have dawned on me that this is a merchant ship. Probably don't even have guns. If they do, it's just for defense, not for attacking. And secondly, considering this is a book about a plague, more than likely, everyone aboard is either crazy sick and infected, or they're just dead. That is my assumption. They all can't be long. I guess we'll find out, but we won't find out in Chapter 7, because Chapter 7 takes us back to the year 2020. So, just checking to see. Okay, yeah. Chapter 7 isn't too long. 10 pages or so, something like that. So we'll read this. We'll do our last stream raiders, and then we'll go find a wonderful person to go raid. And then we'll do this all again on Sunday. Oh, but before I forget, we do have some new subscribers in here, and I want to make sure you know this. In my Discord, which I'm going to post a link right now. In my Discord, there is a sub-only section where on Saturday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, same time that we started today, we will be reading, or continuing to read, Ready Player One. A fantastic book. We're barely into it. We're only on, we got through the first couple of chapters because we did a lot of chatting. But it's only in Discord. It's for subscribers only. It's my way to say thank you to you for being subscribed to me, because it means a lot to me. So I want to do something extra for you. I can't really read that book on stream because I get in trouble. So if you are interested, obviously you don't have to, but Saturday night, 7 p.m. CST, join me in Discord so we can hang out together. Open mics available if you want to talk, and we'll be reading Ready Player One. So, all right, let's read Chapter 7. So this is May 2020, Princeton, New Jersey, early morning. The sisters enjoy the days that follow. Angela is astonished at how actively Jackson approaches each new activity. Every morning, Angela spends time playing with Jackson as Kate takes time to shower. On Wednesday morning, Jackson and Angela play their favorite game of tossing a plush ball back and forth to each other. She enjoys how he giggles each time he tosses a ball in her direction. As they sit and play, she keeps an ear toward the TV to hear the day's weather. Today, the trio plans to head to the playground, and Angela wants to be sure the weather will hold for the adventure. She catches an aggressive toss from Jackson that is followed by his signature giggle. She is about to toss the ball back when the news she has been waiting for comes across the airwaves. We now turn to Jessica for the weather. Jessica. The news anchor announces as the camera shot switches to a woman in front of a map of the tri-state area. Jessica is wearing a black shirt. Well, not a shirt. Jessica is wearing a black skirt with a red button-down top. Her hair is blown out in large waves. Wow. I am just struggling with words tonight. Like, they're not difficult words either. Like, just simple words. Her hair is blown out into large waves. Angela is envious of her luxurious hair as it cascades over her shoulders. Words are hard. Sometimes they are, Purple. Sometimes they are. Thank you, Roger, Jessica responds. Even though it is May, we don't seem to be able to shake those lingering April showers. As you start your morning commute, you will need a jacket to combat a chilly spring breeze. A series of temperatures appear across the map on the green screen behind Jessica. Her hand flows across the map as she points out the temperatures in several areas. Newark will have the high morning temperature of 48 degrees. Across the state, there's a threatening cloud cover. However, we do not expect to see any precipitation until this afternoon. Temperatures should rise into the low 60s. However, with the warmth will come the afternoon shower. Jessica swipes away the map and ushers in a weekly calendar. Across the screen, there are names of each day from Wednesday through Sunday. Above the day's name is a bar chart showing the expected high and low for that day. Below the day's name is a graphic showing the expected weather. It appears that the week will be a washout since each day shows a cloud with raindrops. The temperature seems relatively steady, with lows in the high 40s and highs in the low 60s. And there's a Pokemon in chat. A wild Trubbish appears. Good luck. Angela is about to turn away from the television when the next news story begins. Roger thanks Jessica and leads directly into the next story. China faces a storm of outrage related to the outbreak that has savaged the area over the past couple of weeks. Our own Lisa Johnson is covering this story from Vietnam. That's my reporter voice, by the way. It's not very good, but I haven't practiced it either. The video switches from the studio anchor desk to a female reporter. Panic has begun to spread across the Guangxi region as this flu-like outbreak has intensified. The Chinese administration still refuses to release official infection and mortality statistics to the World Health Organization. The official statement from the Chinese assures that the flu-like outbreak is contained and fully under control. Lies. China is attempting to prevent a panic similar to the 2003 SARS outbreak that swept across the region. However, a report from a humanitarian health worker operating in the region indicates that the infection rate and the death toll continue to rise. The World Health Organization has not yet confirmed whether this recent outbreak is SARS. Their efforts have been hindered by the lack of cooperation of the Chinese government. Nathan Dubois, spokesperson at the World Health Organization, indicates that unless China cooperates, we may not know what we are dealing with until the outbreak spreads beyond the Chinese borders. Japanese officials have issued a travel warning to the region. Japan is particularly concerned about the timing of this outbreak and the hosting of the Summer Olympics in a few weeks. The Olympic governing body has signaled that for the overall safety of the athletes, they may ban any athlete who has visited the affected area in the past 3 months. This would be an unprecedented decision by the Olympic Committee. Simon Bissett, IOC spokesperson, stated, "The Olympics are unique among athletic events, partly because of their ancient and hallowed history, but, above all, because they are identified with the highest ideals. It's not about athletics and competition alone. The Olympics focus on their core value of excellence, respect, and friendship. While we seek full global participation in the Olympics, our first concern will always be for the safety of our athletic community." Delegations have been barred from attending the Olympics in the past. However, those restrictions were because of doping or cheating allegations. Most recently, the Russian Winter Olympic delegation and the Saudi Arabian women delegation were disinvited to recent Olympic events. This is Lisa Johnson, ABC News, Vietnam. The impact of the Olympics is why I decided in 2014 to set the story in 2020. Makes sense. Good to know. Angela thinks about how unfortunate it will be if the Olympics are affected because of the flu. She turns back towards Jackson and cocks her arms to toss him the ball. However, Jackson is no longer in the living room. Angela stands quickly and starts calling in a sing-song voice, "Jackson, where are you?" She walks behind a couch and calls out again. Her heart beats faster, and a sense of panic begins to engulf her. Angela jogs to Jackson's bedroom to see if he headed there to get a toy. She scans his room with no luck. Her next thought is that she headed to the kitchen to get food. Images of Jackson choking flash across Angela's mind. She now darts as a full run from the Jackson's room toward the kitchen. In her frantic sprint, she almost runs right past Jackson, who is standing on a chair at the dining room table. He is bent at the waist with his stomach on top of the dining room table. His arms are stretched out before him as he attempts to pull himself up fully onto the table's surface. The neat stacks of papers that were on the table are now scattered. Dozens of sheets are cascading off the table and falling like large snowflakes onto the floor. "No, Jackson, get down from there," Angela bellows as she rustles over to him. She grabs him at the waist and pulls him off the table. Jackson claws and grabs, trying to regain his advantage. He crunches fistfuls of paper as his tiny hands and throws them aside. He repeats the process, hoping the next stack will allow him to regain his purchase. Angela finally picks the toddler up and places him on all fours on the dining room floor. Without a pause or a glance back, Jackson starts to crawl towards the living room. Kate hears a commotion from her bedroom. With her hair half blown dry, she rushes towards the sound to ensure everyone's all right. "What happened here?" Kate cries in shock. "What happened to all my papers?" As Kate flies into the room, Angela is busy trying to pick up all the papers that fell onto the floor. She's already picked up several crinkled sheets and tries to smooth them out with her hand. Those papers are on top of the stack she is currently compiling. "Kate, I am so sorry. Jackson got away from me and up onto the table," Angela begins to say. "How the hell did he get onto the table? Where were you?" Kate demands. "I stopped to watch the weather forecast for our trip to the park today. When I turned around, he was climbing onto the table," Angela explains. "Look at all my research," Kate groans as she raises her hands to her head and entwines her fingers in her still drying hair. "I spent weeks organizing all of this research. This is going to be a nightmare to fix." "What can I do to help?" asks Angela. "You can keep Jackson away from the dining room table," Kate angrily quips. "Keep picking up the papers on the floor. I will try to put the stacks back together." Angela bends down and continues picking up various pieces of paper. There appears to be no rhyme or reason to the various sheets she collects. She picks up a piece of paper that has a seal at the top, with the remainder of the sheet as a list of names. The next piece she picks up she recognizes. This is clearly a birth certificate for Constance Graves. The last sheet she grabs appears to be some sort of coat of arms. With all the papers from the floor required, Angela stands and places the eclectic set of papers at the end of the dining room table. What is all of this? Angela curiously inquires. Genealogy research, answers Kate with the edge to her voice softening. After Mom passed, I got interested in where we came from. I felt bad that it was the end of the Sindile line. I wondered if there were any relatives we didn't know about, so I started researching on my own. I've gathered everything from obituaries, birth, marriage, and death certificates to probate records, census records, Sanborn maps, ship manifests, and naturalization papers. I've even delved into military records, old newspaper articles, and city directories. Why didn't you just swab your cheek and get a DNA test done? Wonders Angela. That will tell you where you came from, but it will not tell you who you came from. Excuse me. I did sign up for an ancestry website, but most members' family trees on there are wrong, so I started gathering documents and creating my own family tree, Kate says as she gestures towards the dining room wall. Up until this point, Angela has not noticed the large poster board hanging on the wall. At the bottom of the poster board, she sees her own family. Above the names of her direct family, the branches of the tree spread out high and wide, creating a dense canopy. Angela recognizes the names of her maternal and parental grandparents, and aunts and cousins. The section branching up and out from Mark's name are all unfamiliar to her. The poster displays a rich and deep family history. The longer Angela stares at the board, the more irritated she becomes. There are a lot of people on that poster. Where were all these people when Dad died? Maybe I was young and don't remember, but I was old enough to remember the people who attended Mom's funeral. Where were all of those people? Angela angrily questions. I think Mom and Dad had lost touch with a lot of the family. They moved around a lot when Dad was in the Marines, and then we settled in New Jersey. None of the people on that board lived around here. Well, except for Mark's family in Pennsylvania, Kate explains. How is all this paper going to help you connect with all the people on that board? Angela asks as she picks up the top paper in the stack in front of her and waves it around. Kate steps forwards and takes the paper from her. The birth, marriage, and death certificates help me understand how the people on the board are related, who were contemporaries of each other. The manifests help me track our relatives' migration from Europe to America. And papers like this, she retorts, waving the sheet of paper she took from Angela, help me understand the core values of our ancestors. How does that piece of paper reveal the values of our ancestors? Angela questions incredulously. Kate lays the piece of paper down on the table in front of them. This is the family coat of arms. Every color, symbol, and placement on the coat of arms reveals insight into the family that is represented. The coat of arms dates back to medieval times. However, they are still used heavily today. Who uses a coat of arms today? Angela asks sarcastically. Almost every university has a coat of arms. The coat of arms is often used to display the university's motto, school colors, disciplines, and values. I dare you to show me a university coat of arms that does not have laurels or ivy, Kate demands. Why ivy and laurels? Angela asks. Ivy is a symbol of everlasting life. It symbolizes the immortality of knowledge. Laurels are a symbol of triumph. They symbolize the achievement of higher education. Kate spends a few minutes explaining some of the imagery on universities' coats of arms, including telling Angela about the Harvard coat of arms. In general, the basic building blocks of every coat of arms are the same. Its goal is to display family accomplishments, titles, and a family motto. The coat of arms evolved over time to record family descent, adoption, alliances, property ownership, and eventually profession. The coat of arms consists of several components, including the shield, crest, crown, helm, mantling, and wreath. The primary component of every coat of arms is the shield. Each shield is divided into 9 quadrants that display the related information about the family that it represents. Both horizontally and vertically, the shield is divided into thirds. Horizontally, the top third is the chief, the middle is the fess, and the bottom is the base. Vertically, from the perspective of the shield holder, the left third is the sinister, the middle is the pale, and the right the dexter. As I move further back into our history, I'm using heraldry to attempt to make connections to potential relatives. Kate reaches across the table and picks up her father's National Guard patch. She had placed it there earlier in the week so she could compare it to her heraldry resource material. She places the patch on top of the family coat of arms. Dad's National Guard patch is a type of coat of arms. His National Guard shield is divided into thirds with a diagonal stripe. This is called a bend design. Okay, so walk me through what all the symbols mean on his patch, Angela requests. First, you will notice that the patch is made up of 3 primary colors, red, yellow, and black. In heraldry, those are called gules, or sable, Kate begins. Each of those colors has a meaning. Red stands for military strength, yellow for intelligence, and black for consistency. For example, the guns displayed in black would signal the accuracy of those guns. Showing multiple guns would be a show of might. The fleur-de-lis and the cactus in the sinister chief and the dexter base, respectively, represent the unit's ability to operate in multiple climate conditions. The top of the shield, or the crest, displays a lion's head. The lion is a symbol of courage. The wreath under the shield holds the unit's motto, A outrance. The article said that it meant to the utmost, adds Angela. Exactly. So if you know heraldry, you can derive a basic understanding of a family, or in this case, a military unit, concludes Kate. Angela moves the patch off the pile of papers. She spreads out several papers containing various coats of arms. And there's another Pokemon in chat. She spreads out several papers containing various family coats of arms. So as you look at these various coats of arms, you feel you have an understanding of these families? Because all I see is a bunch of unicorns, says Angela. She gestures to the papers in front of her. Alright, Zebra, so if you don't own the ball, you have to buy some balls. So you can do exclamation Pokeshop space Pokeball, and then however many balls you want to buy. Each Pokeball costs 300 Pokedollars, so just try buying a couple and then go from there. When you have enough money and you can buy 10, which would be 3,000, you get a Premier Ball for free. So there you go. So you just bought 1 Pokeball, which you can now throw. Good job. The unicorn is a powerful heraldry image. It is the ultimate symbol of courage and bravery. The fact that you notice the unicorns is a key piece of my research. The design of the unicorn on these shields is very similar. I have a suspicion that there is a family connection between the families on the shields. In fact, the coat of arms on the far left, I believe, will be the linchpin to my research, mentions Kate. See, you caught the Pokemon. Good job. Why is that? Asks Angela. It is a very unique coat of arms. Coat of arms will often repeat an image in a quadrant. Kate starts. Like the guns on the patch, offers Angela. Exactly. This is the only coat of arms I have seen that displays 2 different images in a single quadrant. It shows the head of a unicorn and the head of a wolf, explains Kate. What does that mean? Asks Angela. Well, the unicorn symbolizes courage, and the wolf symbolizes perseverance. But I have no idea what the two of them together is supposed to represent. The coat of arms is from Germany. As a matter of fact, later this summer, Mark and I are taking a trip to France and Germany to do some primary research, Kate announces. Who is watching Jackson? Angela inquires. Mark's parents will have him for the 2 weeks, Kate explains. Are you sure our family tree can meet the high standards of the Philadelphia Greens? Angela quips in a snooty tone. Kate disapprovingly looks at Angela. She is so tired of Angela's constant digs at Mark's. Can you leave Mark alone? He is really excited by and supportive of all my research. Family and family history are very important to him. A spurt of laughter burst out of Angela. You're joking, right? What does that mean? Kate sternly asks. I don't know of an amazing family man who sleeps around on his pregnant wife, Angela venomously spits out. For 2 years, Angela has held back how she truly feels about Mark. In that moment, the words leap out of her throat. A split second after the words leave Angela's mouth, Kate spontaneously slaps her. In a harsh whisper, Kate says, You have no idea what you're talking about. You have never been in love. You have never made a commitment to someone, for better or worse. You don't have a child who is impacted by your every decision. When you love someone, you truly and deeply love them. You find ways to forgive. Angela's cheek radiates a painful burn where Kate slapped her, and tears stream from her eyes. In a disdainful whisper, Angela says, I have far too much self-esteem to take back a cheater like Mark, no matter how much money his family has. You deserve better, Kate. I think you better go, Kate says. Go where, Kate? Where do you want me to go? Angela forcefully questions. Back to Boston, Kate states. Angela is taken aback by the answer. She did not expect the reaction from Kate. She expected Kate to be angry with Mark and commiserate with her about what a jerk he has been. She never anticipated that Kate would defend him. Angela opens her mouth to deliver a devastating response, but the words refuse to form. She closes her mouth and stares at her sister with pure bewilderment. After a few moments, Angela nods. Yeah, I think you are right. 2 hours later, Angela finds herself once again on Route 84. The diner, the cross, and then the large financial service buildings pass in a blur through her constant stream of tears. Wow. I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming at all. Two sisters that had spent so much time trying to get to know each other better, considering their age difference and just their time with their parents and how that's all come together. I mean, obviously Kate's, I have a brother, he's 4 years older, but imagining him being 8 years older and how life could be so much different in that regard. I didn't see that coming. So, well played, Goldie. Well played. Alright, look at all these beautiful units. So many epics, too. That's amazing. Good job. It's great that we started and finished on Route 84 tonight. Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next. Chapter 8 is the end of May 2020, Volk Household, Houston, Texas. So that's where we will start on this book on Sunday, and I look forward to it very much. That is the most intense transition screen. Do you like it? I love it. I'm gonna put my bookmark in here so I don't lose my place. Pew, 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 pew. It's very cool. I'm glad you like it. And welcome to the Discord, Purple and Savage. I'm glad to have you in there. Hopefully you can join me on Saturday as we read more of Ready Player One. Oh man, we might not live. Oh, it's all down to Spiffy. It doesn't seem to be taking any damage, so we might actually... Who's the other unit? We got 2 units left. Spiffy and Savage Zebra as well. Those flying rogues are keeping us alive. If it wasn't for them, we would have lost this. So, whew. Good job, everybody. Well done. I was getting a little worried there for a second. But we made it. I can upgrade a warrior real quick. I look forward to opening more spells, but as of yet, just the 2. Alright. Again, thank you all so much for being here, listening to the story, following, and subscribing. It's been a fantastic, fantastic read. I love the depth into the characters and seeing how it's all come together. I can't wait to find out what happens on Sunday. But for right now, I'm looking for other USG members, and we do have the Gentle Fox. He is live right now. He does a myriad of reading and ASMR stuck together. And tonight he's doing a roleplay stream. The evil side of Gentle Fox. He says, "Be warned, this is not our usual cozy stream." So I have no idea what's gonna happen, but I'm looking forward to finding out. I am enjoying it. It's been fantastic. Thanks for the reading. Good night, everyone. Thank you, 13th. Blue Wave. Thank you for being here as well. For everyone that's here, I appreciate you all so very much. Let's go raid Gentle Fox. Let's go say hi to him. Join me to get the points. Stick around if you want to. It's always nice to say hi to a fellow USG member, recently joined, by the way. So again, thank you so much. I hope you've all enjoyed the read. I hope you have a pleasant day, night, whatever it might be for you. And I can't wait to see you next time.
Nice. Ow! You little butt munch. I'm gonna...
No man